McCartney Taylor here for Learning Beekeeping. I am here today to cover a little bit about top bar hive comb manipulation. So for this demonstration I have brought a nuke that has died during the winter so I can show you exactly what's going on. Now this is not a full top bar hive. This is only about a foot long when a full top bar hive is actually about 4 feet long. But it does show you a little bit about the comb. So, let's talk about comb manipulation. This comb usually is loaded with honey and bees and pollen, and it's going to have a lot of weight to it. Now right now, for demonstration purposes, I've chosen a comb which is empty. This is so I can show you what not to do in order to show you what you should do. So, this comb should always remain with an edge of the comb pointed down towards gravity. I can pick up this comb safely this way. I can tilt it safely this way. I can tilt it down. I can flip it over. But what you must never ever do is to take the comb and pick it up like this, like a Langstroth frame. This has no frame. So all this weight has what's called an angle of momentum in static mechanics. I'm an engineer, sorry, have to. So this has a massive amount of weight. This comb is going to hold 20 times its own weight in honey. So when you pick it up sideways, which is the wrong way, it's just going to snap off and fall, and you're going to have a problem, and you'll have to reattach that comb with either string by sewing it on or by using a hair clip. Let me show you another comb. This comb actually did come out of a cutout, and so the comb had broken off, or I had cut it from a hive, and I reattached it with the hair clip. And let me show you the hair clip. As you can see, the hair clip is embedded into the frame, and I will simply cut that out, which I did with the other one. Let me show you the other one. And that is where the hair clip was. So after you've got a hair clip on your top bar, the next thing to do is wait a few weeks and then cut it out, just like this one. And the bees will rebuild that comb and fill that hole in. They might leave a little bit of a tunnel that they can cross through, but they'll definitely not leave that as a big gaping hole like it is. Okay, some other things I'd like to show you is a little bit about cross combing. You will notice with this bar here there was a string that was soaked with beeswax to give it a guide. It worked nicely, except this bar shows the classic curving of the ends. Again, you see the string. It shows classic curving of the ends where the bees want to curve their comb towards the edges, and they tend to aim it towards the front of the hive. So I presume that was the front of this hive. So again, this comb was great until it got within about 6 inches of the end on either side. Now all I'm going to do is take a knife. I'm going to make a single cut about 4 inches into it, and while this comb is still pliable, which is in warm weather, I'm going to just simply move it and grab the corner and squish it down to force it to stick to the bar crudely. The bees will make it permanent. I'll do the same thing over here. I'll just cut a slit and I'll bend it over and I'll squish it down. Now sometimes, this is another bar. This bar was probably grabbed during a cutout, because I can tell I have a hair clip here. I cut it out during a cutout, and I simply clipped comb to it to hang it underneath it, and it was a unprepared bar. Notice there's no string here, and they've done the same thing over there. They've just simply curved the edges. So I'd think that way would be front of the hive. Now, in this case, if you look at it, I'd say from here through here, this middle swath was the original comb, and the bees built this and this later. They also put a travel tunnel so they can get from one area to the next. Now this kind of burr comb here should not be tolerated. You should just cut that down, and on this side I'd probably put a minor cut there to separate it from the comb, from the bar, and push it in to make it more straight, along with correcting this as well. As it stands, this comb will be used for demonstration purposes in a lecture. Okay, so how are we going to open up this top bar hive? Well, first, bear in mind this is not truly a top bar hive. It is a top bar nuke. This is only about 1/5 of the real size of a top bar hive. A top bar hive should be 4 feet long. This is 1 foot long, and I'm just using this for demonstration purposes. It's also my travel hive whenever I go give lectures. So, how do we open this up? Well, first is I've gone to the end that has no comb on it, and I've lifted those 2 bars out and put them aside. So now I have an opening of 2 bars. I don't like just lifting up 1 bar. 1 bar doesn't give me the clearance that I typically like. 2 bars is better in my opinion. Before I move this first bar that has comb, I'm going to look down on both sides and make sure there's no burr comb. If there is burr comb, I will use my knife. This is a hive tool. A bread knife is much better than a hive tool when dealing with top bar hives. Remember that. Bread knife, good. Hive tool, not so good. So, we go cut any burr comb we see. And you want to cut the burr comb in a vertical manner, not in a side-to-side manner, because the comb strength is vertical. So you don't break the comb off of the bar. You're just trying to cut the comb off of the wall. You don't want to snap it off the bar as well. So you cut off any burr comb, and then you take your knife or your hive tool and you stick it in there a little bit. There's going to be propolis here gluing the whole thing together like super glue. Twist just a hair. Now I've got about a centimeter clearance there. I see that there's no comb attached behind it. I do the same thing over here, and now I've got a free comb I can pull out. When I'm pulling out my comb, I typically put my tool down with my tips of my fingers, make sure there's no bees on the ends, because that's when you get stung, is when you can't see what you're touching. Then I pick it up, and I now can see my comb. And I can check it. I make sure that the edge is always pointed towards direction of gravity, which is down, at least for this year. And I'm done. I can slide it all the way over. I still have my 2 gap, and I repeat. Little tweak. I see no burr comb. A little tweak, and I can lift. In this case, I have a cute little comb that I can hold sideways because I know it's empty and it's not going to snap. There is a, oh, there's a bee. Smells good, doesn't it? Hey, it's empty, go away. And I will slide that down. Same thing here. That's an actor bee. He wants to make this look like it's real. I just need a few more extras. Same thing. Same thing. when it comes time to closing the hive up, you'll often have a problem with bees getting in the way. And how you do that is I typically like to move 2 bars at a time. I touch one corner first and then carefully slide here. Now if there's a bee somewhere in the middle, I'll pick the bars up and I'll rock it back and forth, up and down a little bit, and that usually makes the bee move. And then I can seal it up and close it up the rest of the way with the same technique. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you want to know more about beekeeping, I've got a website, Learning Beekeeping. I'll put the URL right there. And I'm on Facebook now, so don't forget to join us on Facebook. And I hope to see you next video.